the Sunday paper, you were quoted as saying, you would turn the private enterprise loose to build the economy. Please give us some specific examples of how you would turn the private enterprise loose, and what changes would you make to the current model of economic development?
Well, I didn't know we had a model for economic development. I just laid out the facts for the Commerce Center, and we're the #1 or #5 city in 2 categories, and we can't land a project or a company to come in. There is no model right now in Bismarck for economic development, except it takes taxpayers' money and throw it against every problem that we have and say that's a solution. As a matter of fact, is it a model for economic development to want to raise the sales tax, double it? That's regressive. I remember when Melrose made their announcement on a Friday. The following Tuesday we had a meeting, and my opponent never talked about those people that lost their jobs. The most important thing, we need to raise the sales tax, more money. Never talked about the jobs lost, families that were out of, that were pretty much put out on the street as far as income is concerned. The big item was, we need to double the sales tax and add on to the Civic Center. I mean, if that's an economic development policy, it boggles my mind. Doubling taxes and misappropriating money, as far as I'm concerned, giving special interest groups money is not the way to get economic development. Good infrastructure and a level playing field will take care of that for us. We all know that if a company comes into Bismarck, we give them 5 years tax break if they're a new non-competing company. I don't have a problem with that. But we cannot keep going like the E.T. movie. We keep throwing suitcases of money out to bribe them into the fold, and at the same time, Fargo's doing the same thing. It gets more and more and more expensive. Companies will come if we have a good city. We have the oil wells, oil fields up here, the coal mines. We should be concentrating on companies like that, letting them know what kind of a city we have, and moving forward, and not wasting taxpayers' money, and not doubling the sales tax, and saying that's the way to handle it.
Thank you. Mayor Warford, in your response to the chamber connection questions, one of your statements was, our challenge is to take charge of our own economic destiny. What are some of the specific examples of how we should take charge of that destiny in your mind?
Thank you. I talked about the concept of the economic development anchors, but let me just focus on one of the strong aspects, and I'd like to maybe focus on the downtown. You heard my thoughts on utilizing the chamber, the BMDA, the Idea Center, empowering retail, and so forth. So let me talk a little bit about the downtown, because I think the vitality of our downtown is really the heartbeat of our community. And focusing on our downtown is so important. Otherwise, you end up with this donut effect with a dead downtown. One of the things that I strongly propose is utilization of the Renaissance Zone for increasing the vitality of our downtown. And you have before you, this is an actual Renaissance Zone project that was that I got from community development. We've had 60 projects, 40 completed in the downtown. We've had $13 million infused into our downtown, private dollars, and created a number of jobs. They estimate 200 jobs. But take a look at this. Now, this is what real economic development is, and this is what we need to do more of in our community. Take a look at this. Beginning value of a building, $500. That's a decrepit old building. Because of the Renaissance Zone, they invested private dollars, $618,000 and some change. Now, these are jobs for blue-collar workers. These are jobs for plumbers, electricians, sheetrockers, all the people, HVAC, all of the people, they got jobs to improve that building. Look at the property value of that building now, over $1 million. And for the next 30 years, that building will be paying property tax on an increasing amount over that $1 million. You know, this is dramatic. A $500 building worth $1 million because the city takes an initiative. We had zero of the Renaissance Zone projects when I was elected mayor. And now you can see that. I've got another example up there that's even more dramatic, where the building went from $300,000 to $2.6 million. So this is an example of true economic development that's broad-based, forward-thinking, and that's one of my economic development anchors that I wanted to specifically talk with you about.
Thank you. Now, the next question